image that you're seeing right there of a cloud yesterday that we then put on our webpage has gone viral. A lot of people saying it resembles an angel.
Yeah, people all day talking about this, and so there is that question, just what is it?
Nobody will believe me if I didn't do this live, but I want you to look in the sky. Is that not an angel or what?
There are a lot of people having a lot of sightings, particularly in more recent years. Sighting is reported every 8 seconds globally.
With the sky having exactly no limits, the same could be applied to what happens within it. From unimaginable discoveries or one-of-a-kind sightings. Stay tuned to get to see moments that can't go unnoticed caught on camera. Considering that the angel of death appears right before every tragedy, this wouldn't necessarily be something good. A passenger was flying out from Puerto Rico by the window seat when he noticed a flyby of an angelic figure several minutes after taking off while moving past the coast. With the appearance of the angel lasting only a fraction of a second, it is fair to say that this was rather a divine opportunity to see an angel, while at the same time not worrying about the intentions of this sudden, unexpected appearance. Flying angel in clouds.
Oh my God, Jesus! God!
While no one knows if these angels were in a brawl or playing around, witnesses were just glad to be the audience. During a sunset in an undisclosed location, a woman got to witness the rare sight of 2 glowing figures that were vigorously moving in and around the shadow of a really dark cloud. There were moments where the silhouette of both figures could be somewhat seen, further captivating everyone's attention. Some of the viewers, however, believe that one of them could be a devil, while the other was fighting to keep it away from the people.
Hey, them are angels! My God!
They come out every day.
Sun, moon, and the unknown.
As you can see, there's obviously a really very clear planet that is right north of the sun.
The sun and the moon are the only celestial objects known that exist in the sky until another one made an appearance. A boater that was cruising in broad daylight noticed a third glowing star or planet in the sky, apart from the sun and the moon, that left him more puzzled and curious of its nature than fascinated. Unlike the moon, which can only reflect light from the sun, this was bigger and much brighter, just like the sun, which also ruled out the possibility of it being a planet. This could have been anything from another star, or perhaps even a UFO in the making.
Just look at that planet just beaming and shining right now. Somebody tell me what it is.
Appearing angels or demons? Usually, you can make out the difference between things heading in a good way or bad. This case, however, differs completely. A Facebook user shared this clip showing several flying figures emerging from an opening between shining clouds that almost made them look blissful. It wasn't until their dark, shaded nature, the lightning effect, and them racing down towards the bystanders that they started to panic. The figures that emerged looked like knights with a rather demonic sort of body language. No one knows what followed, but judging by the footage that randomly cuts off, it certainly left quite a negative vibe. Hovering ring or portal?
Abduskan!
The problem with sightings such as these is that it's a bit too dubious to be anything other than some portal or magic hovering ring. Small-town residents in Uruguay had their attention captivated by the sudden appearance of this bizarre portal or hovering ring passing by while maintaining altitude. Even though nothing was going in or coming out of it, nor was it creating any disturbance in its path, still the spectators were horrified of what it might follow or what potentially it could be capable of. Within minutes, it passed away from their location until it gradually went too far to keep an eye on. Something in the clouds? This wasn't just another normal cloud formation, but one that almost seemed to be created as a cover. In January 2012, a homeowner in Slovakia shared a sudden appearance of a strange cloud formation resembling a scary face, followed by eerie sounds audible in the sky. The homeowner added that this left some of his neighbors panicked and terrified, to the extent that they started to flee in their cars upon seeing the shape appear in the sky, especially since the year 2012 was widely believed to be the year of reckoning. Descending glare object. Just by the gradual descent, you can know that this is an actual flying object trying to hide with the benefit of the doubt as cover. An early morning walker noticed a large signature of a glaring object that appeared in the sky, which was fast descending until it suddenly disappeared, followed by the appearance of a much smaller object passing by with a similar glare nature. With the sun not too high in the sky, it leaves very few possible explanations behind. Cloud walking. A figure that can be visibly seen walking over the clouds almost seems as if it's being shown out in person. In August 2019, a concerned pedestrian in Nebraska observed a remarkable occurrence in the cloudy sky. He, along with other bystanders, witnessed the shadow of a large human-shaped figure ascending a staircase formed by the clouds. This sighting led many to speculate whether it depicted someone journeying toward the gates of heaven in real time. While opinions may differ, the scene undeniably carries profound spiritual implications. Perhaps if another scene of alternate options were also displayed, things would have been much clearer for everyone. Group of angels? Even for angels, a gathering like this is quite puzzling and uncommon. Back in November 2005, over the skies of Mexico City, residents were confused and partially shocked to see several figures in humanoid form. At first, they were believed to be only two of them, until more slowly started to make an appearance. They were all glowing white and appeared to be spinning, while their position also kept changing. Balloons or any sort of kites were ruled out, seeing them move perfectly without getting entangled. Strange noises.
You can hear that, right?
Yeah, what is it?
I've got no idea.
When you hear strange noises as loud and distressing as these, you know there's something very wrong impending. Residents in Sydney, Australia got to witness a really loud and sudden, strange noise that defied explanation.
This is scary.
It all started as the weather turned cloudy, resulting in poor visibility. It left everyone to wonder if these were the rumblings of alien communications during an invasion, a secret government operation, or signs of the impending apocalypse or end of the world.
Sounds so creepy.
Roaring Chinese dragon. Initially, this was also going to be classified as another unexplained noise, until the Chinese locals said otherwise. In July 2020, tourists were visiting mountain areas of China's Guizhou province when they suddenly heard a loud roaring sound that left them astonished, which, according to their tour guide, was a live dragon. The source of the sound was coming deep from the mountain forest, while tour guides were advising the visitors to not try to pursue it. After all, if the sounds are this terrifying, you certainly wouldn't want to find out how scary they might be in person. One-sided dawn. This is another sun lightning glitch, but only this time it looks to be far worse. In December 2023, a passenger from an unknown commercial airliner shared this one-of-a-kind coincidence where the effect of sunrise could only be seen on one side of the window seating. With one side showing daylight, the other had pitch darkness, with visible street lights on the ground. This incident, however, didn't get much attention during the moment, with most of the passengers asleep or busy with screens. Spider sky. Whether you call it a spider invasion or just some weird phenomena in effect, this certainly would be a nightmare for people scared of spiders. In January 2019, residents in a rural area of southern Brazil experienced an unusual phenomenon: raining spiders. Experts explained that this occurrence is typical in Minas Gerais state during hot and humid weather. Despite the appearance of spiders falling from the sky, they were actually descending from a massive web they had constructed to catch prey. Scientists identified the species responsible, known for building fine community webs that are almost invisible to the human eye, creating the illusion of spiders floating in the air. Fallen cloud. Either this cloud lost its touch, got too heavy, or just the gravitational pull had some serious glitches for it to fall like this. A mesmerizing phenomenon caught the attention of a motorist who recorded it in awe. An astonishing cloud formation appeared to descend, creating a surreal falling cloud effect. Remarkably, part of the cloud molded through a fence, becoming lodged within it. The motorist even posed with an ethereal cloud, inserting his hand into its midst. According to him, this fallen cloud almost seemed to have a force of its own that it was acting on. Multi-legged Dementor.
God, what is this?
The fact that most multi-legged creatures are a thing of the seas, your average person would be upset seeing them high in the sky. A woman in Amman, Jordan, was left terrified after spotting this bizarre creature and decided to film it before sharing it with the world, hoping to get some answers as to the nature of this thing. While many considered it to have several legs or tentacles, some Redditors believe that this actually was a Dementor, having incredibly large strips of its outfit lagging behind, some that were taken to be limbs or tentacles.
What the hell is this thing in the air?
Supernatural sky snake.
Mama, smile again, mama.
Though this white line in the sky may seem to be far from being harmless, locals would say otherwise. A clip from February 2017 shows a white line in the snake that the locals in South Africa were calling to be quite destructive. They all can be seen to be in a panic and distressed soon after its appearance, until the supernatural flying snake turns around and disappears into the clouds. Most believe that this was the doing of some ancient voodoo magic, but no one knows for sure about its nature.
Damn.
Appearance of Chinese dragon. After hearing the loud growls of a dragon, having to be caught on camera was only a matter of time. In July 2020, tourists visiting the Great Wall of China got to witness a one-of-a-kind appearance of a large, flying serpent that matched the description of the Chinese flying dragon. Though the appearance of a mythical giant lasted only a couple of seconds, it left quite the lasting impression among the viewers. Though the Chinese dragon initially terrified them, the calm demeanor of this left them at ease. Flying stool. This stool is either as light as a feather or was taken away as a souvenir by some supernatural spirit. During a windy and cloudy afternoon, a homeowner in the Philippines discovered a bar stool that was flying dozens of meters from the ground until it eventually struck his roof and fell down on the ground. While most viewers and witnesses believe this is the result of a really strong wind, others are under the impression that this is the doing of some supernatural force or entity. Sydney Sky Mystery. Unlike a UFO or an unidentified beam of light, this remains an indescribable entity. Eyewitnesses on the streets of Sydney, Australia, witnessed a perplexing sight that seemed to materialize out of nowhere in the sky. It lacked a solid structure and appeared as if some liquid material was falling, but halted in midair without any apparent disturbance. Despite the fluctuating wind pressures, this mystery showed no discernible reaction, leaving observers puzzled about its nature and how it came to be suspended in the sky. Following or escorting UFOs. Regardless of what's happening, it shows how disturbingly comfortable these aliens have become. An undisclosed source shared this footage on Instagram, showing a large commercial airliner craft that was either being followed or escorted by two UFOs flying behind, with one of them closer than the other. Considering that no fighter jets were scrambled and nothing of this sort made the news, it looks like the UFOs were merely just following. Doorway light in sky. This is something that every grieving family would like to believe as the appearance of a deceased loved one in the sky. While smoking just a couple of meters away from the house, the appearance of this light in the sky captivated the attention of the recorder. The light that appeared in the sky in the clouds looked more like the opening of some doorway by the manner of how it would light up and even get dimmer as well, almost as if someone were looking down from it. Apart from the obvious question of what this might be, the recorder was blown away by a bigger question, whether this was an opening to another dimension, or perhaps even to heaven. Smoky ring formation.
Yo, it's moving! It's moving!
Looks like this was either the attempted work of an inexperienced sorcerer or a failed attempt of summoning a portal. A TikToker captured the sudden appearance of this bizarre, smoky, ring-like formation that immediately captivated his attention, leaving him terrified, while he was expecting something to appear or happen until both the ends of the ring separated before the clip ended abruptly. According to the source, whatever this was disappeared just as quick and mysteriously as it had appeared, leaving its nature not known. Rising shuttles. The unresolved UFO sightings over the years almost gave the impression that aliens are becoming unsettlingly at ease. A video from November 2016 depicts three shuttle-like propulsion objects that were ascending together steadily in a formation and slowly climbing higher until they merged into one and vanished instantly. The demeanor of these shuttles looks as if they split apart to be able to cover more ground. This partially suggests they might be studying, surveilling, or even attempting to manipulate the planet's nature by creating a portal, making it easier for their kind to travel. UFO mothership. This is probably where all the UFOs actually appear and disappear from. During a sunny day in Ohio, citizens got to see a very large object that everyone initially took to be a cloud. Despite being completely silent, the openings underneath gave it away to be a kind of giant mothership. Even though this massive spacecraft was easily spotted, it remained to be inconspicuous until it slowly and gradually passed away. Judging by the size and the great lengths that this mega spaceship went, it's safe to say that this indeed was a UFO mothership. Stuck birds. Watching these videos, it's hard not to feel like we're all just part of some simulation, or better yet, a matrix. A pedestrian stumbled upon a perplexing scene. A pigeon seemingly stuck in one spot, with no visible strings or wires. And this wasn't an isolated incident. A similar incident where another bird was seen to be glitching in the matrix occurred.
That's a dead bird, and it's just floating in the air. No strings, no nothing.
Even bystanders couldn't figure out how it was possible. Luckily, they captured this unusual sight on film for everyone to see. Halted tornado cloud.
Yeah.
Knowing how scary and destructive a tornado cloud can be, this almost seemed like a calm before a terrible storm. In September 2020, a Kansas resident filmed this rare and one-of-a-kind phenomenon where a really large tornado-like cloud somehow remained frozen. It looked darker on either side, while light in the center, and it also looked like a face. What this actually was, or how it came into being, is unknown, but eyewitnesses speculated it to be anywhere from extraterrestrials to extra-dimensional.
Like a tornado of clouds, a runway or something.
Halted in sky. Regardless if this was a crashing Starlink satellite or a UFO, it was halted in the sky by a mysterious force. A driver on the outskirts of Odessa, Texas, noticed a trail of massive objects in the sky that looked to be halted soon after making an entry. Though it appeared to look like a giant smudge in the sky, the dark, shaded trail left a rather easily visible trail behind. Could it be that it was just hovering after making an appearance, or was it halted directly by some out-of-hand and invisible entity or force? Falling anomalies. Normally, all these would be coming crashing down to Earth, whereas here, they remained completely halted. A series of dark shaded entities were seen suspended in the sky, poised to come down and fall on Earth. The recorder believes that the only thing that seemed somewhat recognizable in the sky was this humanoid figure that could very well be holding off all the dark shaded objects from coming down to the Earth, with little to no visible signs of it or anything else even flinching. Another theory was shared of them being trapped in a spell or even a spider's web. However, nothing about this was ever known to have come to light till this day. Mysterious flying creature. For a creature that's flying far away and is still visible, it's far bigger than it may be perceived to be. Back in March 2016, this concerningly massive and mysterious creature was spotted flying in the skies of Pennsylvania, which left residents wondering as to what its true nature might be. It had huge and intimidating wings that helped it appear as well as disappear among the clouds. While its nature still remains a total mystery, could this be a huge prehistoric bat, another flying dinosaur, or perhaps even a dragon of sorts? Do share with us your opinion in the comments. Human flying figure. While touring San Antonio, Texas, a couple stumbled upon a remarkable sight, a flying humanoid several miles away. Intrigued, they decided to document the spectacle. At first, they thought it might be a weather balloon due to its unusual shape, but as it approached, they realized it was unlike anything they'd seen before. Through binoculars, they discerned what looked like a humanoid figure with distinct features: a head, arms, and legs. This sighting sparked various speculations, from UFO theories to ponderings about its symbolic significance, such as the return of Christ. Open sky portal. From what's fast developing here, it almost seems like someone's escaping being compromised. In March 2018, a drone flying through the skies of Russia captured this interesting moment, showing a large opening of a portal to a mysterious dark dimension. Something around the lines of a rocket or flying object with jet propulsion can be seen rushing toward and into the portal. However, neither the nature of the portal nor the object rushing into it is known. On the bright side, at least nothing can be seen coming out of it comparatively to most other documented cases. Sky floating object. Immediately, just by looking at the glowing nature of this object, it is certain that this was no balloon or crafted object. A homeowner was enjoying a morning coffee in his backyard when he spotted this unrecognizable object that was traversing through the sky. The flying object that initially looked like a balloon was zoomed in on while it was moving. Instead of giving some answers, that only made its nature far more confusing. The source added that it was also scaring away the birds around and underneath it, with not much left to tell. This, perhaps, could have been a prototype craft being put to the test, either by humans or aliens. Dysfunctional sunlight. Unlike any living beings, nature is never known to make a mistake, or at least be dysfunctional until this. While returning from work, a man experienced a weird sunlighting effect, where exactly half of the sky was getting bright light, while the other half remained comparatively quite dim. Even with the dense clouds, the difference was far too visible for anything like this to even be possible. While this spectacle remains unanswered, Redditors have a theory that there was the presence of a really tall and invisible wall that's to blame here, causing the effect. Suspended aircraft wreckage. This is either a piece of wreckage from an unknown aircraft or an alien spaceship suspended in the sky. A passenger from a private jet noticed this huge object that was stationary in the sky. While it didn't descend or descend, the flying craft, however, did happen to be spinning around freely. The moving piece didn't look identifiable or how it was defying gravity, leaving the bystanders with the only possible conclusion of this being some alien spacecraft. Usually, objects such as these are quite common to the kind that you see them in a movie about superheroes. UFO breaking cover? If you thought this was some effect of the cloud, that is exactly what the aliens too would want you to think. On a cloudy day in Lisbon, Portugal, residents' attention was caught by the sudden appearance of a UFO-like spacecraft in the sky that was either breaking cover or mistakenly compromised itself. Since it remained completely idle, spectators were rather under the impression that this was some development in the sky. Hand of God. Though this looks to be another coincidental development in the sky, bystanders call it to be the hand of God. A photographer, after having to seize the extraordinary moment when a colossal hand emerged from the clouds, captured the breathtaking footage of the fist-shaped wind funnel breaking through the somber clouds above his residence during lunchtime, which most viewers believed to be a divine sign of God offering his hand to help. While onlookers marveled at the sight, it was later explained to just be any other cloud, only this one was composed of condensed water droplets taking the shape of a hand. Aerial shape-shifting anomaly. It's not just the mysterious nature of this that's alarming, but also seeing it flying while also shape-shifting at the same time. A Facebook upload from October 2019 shows a moment of a bizarre type of anomaly that was brushing through the sky while continuously shape-shifting itself into random forms. It's impossible to tell if this was some spacecraft or some giant bugs or alien beings that made an unannounced appearance before disappearing in the same manner. Giant moth. From the largest known insects to the mightiest of birds, nothing compares to the sheer size of this. In January 2022, an elderly man in Indonesia was taking a leisurely stroll when he spotted an enormous creature soaring high above. Judging from the footage, it closely resembled a giant moth in its appearance. This oversized moth-like creature was observed flying steadily in one direction before abruptly changing course within a matter of seconds and returning to its origin. Passed through the sun. As absurd and implausible as it may seem, it appears that a bird traversed from one side of the sun to the other, seemingly passing through the fiery orb itself. An astronomer, while setting up his telescope during sunset for research, witnessed the spectacle of a bird descending into the sun and emerging from it unscathed. Could such a feat be possible? Especially considering the possibility of it being another divine phenomenon. Disco cloud. With clouds so thick that they barely allow any light to penetrate, the passage of colorful, or any light for that matter, seems almost impossible unless it originates from within. In 2019, just days after New Year's celebrations, pedestrians on the streets of California were treated to the sight of various hues of colorful light shining from beneath the edge of a cloud. Initially, many speculated that the light was coming from a group below the cloud, until the movement of the cloud proved otherwise. Now, the source of this phenomenon could either be a helicopter adorned with various lights, or perhaps a kite equipped with a light bulb. Flying elemental beings. A wildlife camera operator in South Africa didn't just come across, but also captured the rare and dramatic appearance of elemental beings falling and flying not too high up in the sky. Elemental beings are spiritual entities associated with natural elements like earth, air, fire, and water. Earth elementals, such as gnomes, relate to the earth. Air elementals like sylphs to air, fire elementals known as salamanders to fire, and water elementals like undines to water. They're invoked in spiritual practices for various purposes. Rainbow shadow figure. A small recording from March 31st, 2024 shows a small rainbow that appeared after the rain. Only this one had a shadow of a tall, human-like figure that presented itself at the center of it, from the ground level to hikers that were on top of a high, hilly upper ground next to the sea. Both were able to see it. Open discussion. This picture and video was taken on October 23, 2023 in Jerusalem, Israel, showing several shiny objects of figures that randomly appear. While most were tiny, a couple of them were quite large and also different in shape, with all of them consistently flying up in the sky before entering and disappearing into the clouds. The nature of these may not be known, but rumor has it that these actually were the souls of recently deceased people. The exact nature of this still remains a mystery. If you happen to know more about this, do share it with us in the comments. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.